Story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Martins Dixon. In our major story, soldiers brutalized BRT drivers and innocent citizens in Lagos in attempt to avenge the death of their colleague. Also in this program, hope rises as federal government meets demands of striking medical doctors. Under fire, Adamawa State Governor Murtala Nyako returns to Yola in an attempt to douse impeachment threat and promises to pay workers' salaries. And outside Nigeria, British Prime Minister's ex-aide Andy Coulson bags a 10-month jail term for role in phone hacking.
Business news. Federal government gives 6 months deadline for consumable products storage standard.
And sport tonight. Novak Djokovic set up Wimbledon final date with Roger Federer.
And now the news in details. Ikorodu pandemonium, the death of an unidentified military officer allegedly hit by an operator of the bus rapid transit, popularly called BRT, has left the Palm Grove Ikorodu Road axis in disarray following the outburst of angry military officials. According to reports gathered, over 5 BRT buses have been destroyed, causing traffic gridlock along the axis.
Ashes were the remains of the bus rapid transits, popularly known as BRT buses, set ablaze by angry soldiers on the verge of avenging the death of their colleague. Attempts to get the views of eyewitnesses at the scene proved a little difficult, but some who agreed to speak had this to say.
It's those army people that comes to do it. When they are asking about the BRT man, and they got that the man has run away. That was why they have to stop those BRT buses and start burning them.
There was issue of an army officer that was knocked down by BRT bus, and as a result of that, they started reacting to that issue. I believe they should be proactive. You know, this is a nation where law exists. So if they have done something like that, government will have stepped into it and know why and what causes it. But the truth is that if individuals have obeyed the law, such incident wouldn't have happened.
From what seemed like a mini war on BRT operators by military officers, the far-reaching effect told on many Nigerians who were conveyed in half-destroyed buses, while others took to trekking in the absence of operations by BRT drivers. On the issue, Governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raji Fashola, said he is yet to receive a formal report on all that transpired between the military men and BRT operators. But if the allegations prove true, then it would be an irresponsible conduct for the military officers to take laws into their hands.
If buses that citizens are saying are not enough are being set ablaze, I don't know how setting ablaze buses recompenses any injury in any event that you may have suffered. I don't know how damaging public property is restitution for any injury that may have come. But for now, the only thing I can say to you is that when I get the full facts, I will address you and let you know what has happened and what we intend to do and how we intend to go about it.
Following the incidents, many Nigerians could not help but wonder the level of lawlessness in the country, while lamenting the waste of taxpayers' money in a show of anger. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Embattled Adamawa State Governor Murtala Inyako has returned to the state after staying away for over 2 weeks. The governor and the House of Assembly have been in a face-off on charges of financial misappropriation. Now, the report.
The governor made this comment upon his return to the state capital on Friday afternoon.
Calm down this thing. If there is any fraud in Adamawa, I'm the one to feel most concerned. And I assure you, I feel more concerned. If there is a genuine case of prosecutable offense committed in Adamawa, I will be very, very interested to know. So, I assure you, they will find solution to this matter, I hope very, very soon indeed. And we want, I'm happy that we don't have much external influences, and in this matter, we are the man people who find a solution to our own situation.
The governor threatens to sue the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, for freezing the state government account. Speaking about the impeachment move on him by the Adamawa State House of Assembly, the embattled governor said they will resolve the issue amicably.
We'll bring full process, emotion, all the forces of reconciliation. This is not a new society. This is a society that has existed with about 87 ethnic groups. And there is no, and I'm delighted to say that since we started this crisis even in the Northeast, there is not a single Adamawa man caught in Boko Haram work. So we are a peace-loving people. We'll find solution. We'll use our kinship. We will use all the traditional institutions, the religious institutions, and the political institutions we have in the country, and the political games necessary for us to calm down the tempo.
The governor and the House of Assembly have been in the face-off on charges of financial misappropriation. The acting chief judge of the state, Ambrose Mamadi, had on Thursday dismissed all charges levied against the House of Assembly by the governor.
The federal government has reached an agreement with striking doctors on all contentious issues. Health Minister Onyebuchi Chukwu disclosed these at a press briefing in Abuja. He says the deal was signed after a meeting with the leadership of the Nigerian Medical Association that lasted 10 hours. The minister added that the government has addressed all 24 demands tabled by the doctors and expects them to return to work soon. The minister is convinced that the strike will be called off on or before next week, Monday. The Medical Association's president, Kayode Obembe, was, however, not available to confirm the health minister's claims. The Senate has now empowered the Independent National Electoral Commission to determine whether to adopt electronic voting for future elections. This was after senators successfully amended the 2010 Electoral Act. The amendment also provided for tenure of office of secretary and also grants the commission the power to duplicate voters' card. Until now, the Electoral Act was not specific on the tenure of INEC secretary, and federal lawmakers have now introduced a renewable 4-year tenure. The Act also grants the Commission 60 days to process transfer of voters or issue duplicate voters' card. The federal government says it has spent 139 billion naira on changing the face of education in the country. Supervising Minister for Education Nyesom Wike told newsmen in Abuja that no government has done more in the sector than the Jonathan administration. He also reeled a list of achievements.
If you have the program, the projected enrollment would be not less than 6,500 of our girls that have access to this kind of school. Now, apart from that, there will be particularly advantages and the girls' education.
As the fight against insurgents in Nigeria takes a new turn, the police authorities are keen to impart adequate knowledge on tackling insurgency on the rank and file. To this end, the police management team has commissioned a special study center of the National Open University in one of its barracks in Abuja.
This is the Special Studies Center of the National Open University. It is situated within the police barracks in Dede on the outskirts of Abuja. The aim is to enhance professionalism among police officers who are willing to acquire more knowledge.
Policing requires acquisition of and constant servicing of knowledge. And with this Special Studies Center, university education has been brought very close to us. Our journey to the land of knowledge has begun, as higher qualification can now be pursued and obtained without going far from our place of primary responsibility.
To demonstrate his belief in what he's preaching, the IG also received an admission letter from the institution. He also wants officers and men of the police to do more to enhance service delivery to the people.
The mission of the National Open University is to provide functional, cost-effective, flexible learning which adds lifelong value to quality of education for all who seek knowledge. While the logo carries the inscription, "Work and Learn," all these are pointers to the fact that our officers and men have a lot to benefit from this program. I therefore urge you all and sundry not to allow this advantage and opportunity to slip off our hands.
Vice Chancellor of the institution, Ado Tanebe, for his part, promised to make the institution a knowledge-based center.
The establishment of the National Open University Special Studies Center for the Nigerian Police is another bold step forward by the authorities of the National Open University of Nigeria, as well as the authority of the Nigerian Police.
And as police officers begin to acquire knowledge towards ensuring a more secured environment, it may not be out of place for Nigerians to expect better policing in the country. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
And now to aviation. The Chairman Senate Committee on Aviation, Hope Uzodimma, says the decision to shut down the Abuja airport for maintenance is not a unilateral one. He told journalists shortly after a meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan that the airport's runway is in poor state.
For obvious safety reasons, we have some potholes that are already seen as serious hazards. And don't forget, that is the only runway that lands our president, that lands all the VIPs, all the investors coming to the country. So, and the last time there was a technical audit by FAA in keeping with the international regulations, and the open items in the punch list, prominent among them was the Abuja runway. So we now did this a series of meetings with the Minister of Aviation, with airlines, and agreed that from 12 o'clock on Saturday midnight to Sunday, that Julius Berger will take that time to repair the runway and make it navigable.
Members of the Chibok community in Borno State are seeking protection against what they described as a campaign of genocide by Boko Haram. We'll bring you details of these and more after this break. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN. Everywhere you go.
This one wash challenge, you test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, people's parliament from the national, state and local government assembly. Contact us now
on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733, 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station. You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. You're still watching CoreTV Primetime News. Members of the Chibok community in Borno State are seeking United Nations protection against what they described as a campaign of genocide by Boko Haram. This, they say, is because of the inability of the Nigerian authorities to prevent incessant attacks in the community in spite of advance notice to security forces. The Chibok community also wants the government to enter into dialogue with Boko Haram with a view to securing the release of 219 schoolgirls abducted more than 80 days ago.
Chibok community in Borno State was relatively unknown before Boko Haram elements abducted hundreds of schoolgirls in April this year. But now, it's regularly in the news as a result of the campaign to get the girls back from captivity. Also, it has in recent times attracted more interest from Boko Haram, according to community leaders. They say that insurgents have killed more than 200 people in at least 15 attacks on their villages. The community members are now convinced that the Nigerian authorities cannot protect them and are seeking outside help.
As a matter of urgency, we wish to alert the general public and the international community that after the attack of 4 villages of Kautikari, Nguradina, Kwadakomtiahi, and Kakilmari on Sunday, 29th June 2014, which recorded 105 deaths, the residents of Kautikari have received what the Boko Haram sect termed final notice to attack Kautikari again by advising residents to vacate the village or face total annihilation of their next attack, which has been promptly reported to the security agencies. With this development, the Chibok nation wish to categorically state that the inability or unwillingness of the federal government to provide adequate security to the Chibok, that is Kibaku nation, following the abduction of the girls leaves us with no option than to call on the United Nations to use its apparatus to come to our aid and protect us from the imminent annihilation as a people.
On the abducted girls, the community leaders say at least 7 parents of the missing girls have died from heart attack. The way out for them is for the government to dialogue with the insurgent.
The federal government should go into immediate negotiation with the Boko Haram sect with a view to securing the safe release of the girls. 2, immediate establishment of a rehabilitation center in Chibok to address psychological, medical, and traumatic effects of the abduction on parents, escaped and yet to be rescued girls, and the Chibok community. 3, reconstruct government secondary school Chibok and build another secondary school within Chibok community, considering the huge number of over 500 students in one class.
Other demands is for the army to station a battalion in the town. And with a rise in the number of internally displaced persons, the community wants the Borno State and the federal government to provide more relief materials for the people.
Nigerian troops have arrested 3 suspected female terrorists who have been secretly recruiting ladies into the female wing of the terrorist group. Defense spokesman General Chris Olukolade identified the suspects as Hafsat Usman Bako, Zainab Idris, and Aisha Abubakar. He explained in a statement that the 3 were intercepted while traveling to Madagali, from where they were to move into Sambisa forest to reunite with other insurgents. According to Defense Headquarters, investigations revealed that the suspects were led by Hafsat Bako, the widow of a Boko Haram cell leader, Usman Bako. Olukolade added that Hafsat's link with the terrorist group had earlier been a subject of investigation in 2012, when security agents on a manhunt for her husband stormed their residence in Jumeta in Adamawa State and recovered an AK-47 rifle and 2 loaded magazines. The military claimed that the suspects were luring ladies, especially widows and young girls, by enticing them with male suitors who are mainly Boko Haram members for marriage. They were said to be on the way to receive additional briefing from the leadership before their arrest. The FCT Minister Bala Mohammed has directed the 6 area councils in the territory to register all aliens in their respective areas. This is contained in a statement issued on Friday in Abuja by Nosike Ogbuenyi, the Special Assistant on Media to the Minister. The statement says Mohammed directed that the exercise should be conducted in conjunction with officials of the Nigerian Immigration Service. The statement says that the minister who gave the directive during an enlarged security meeting of the FCT reviewed the security situation in Abuja. He assured that the FCT administration was liaising with appropriate security agencies to reopen the MAP shopping plaza that was attacked on June 25. Reactions have been trailing the proposed creation of 18 states endorsed by the National Conference in Nigeria. A legal practitioner, Lekon Alabi, condemns the action by the National Conference, saying they do not have the power to create states.
The power to create state squarely lies in the National Assembly. I believe that the creation of state is not our need now. Our need is how to make the state that we have already had to be viable, so that the state will not go to Abuja every month at the end of the month to collect their peanut to run the state. And I believe that the purpose of the creation of state is to serve as a conduit pipe for the satellite of the custodian of power to manipulate the resources of the state.
Chike Chude, a public affairs analyst, also believes that the creation of states is not what Nigeria needs now.
I think that the National Assembly is not in sync with reality, and they are not in sync with the mood of the nation, and they are also not in sync with what would appear to be the groundswell of opinion in the country. So I do not think it's a very good position taken by the National Conference. It just clearly tells you that some of these people are not in sync with the rest of the country, and like I said, the mood of the nation.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has rescheduled the second phase of the distribution of permanent voter cards and continuous voter registration involving 12 states. INEC spokesman Kayode Idowu says voters' cards will be available at polling units from Friday, August 15 to Sunday, August 17, 2014, instead of the initial July 18 to 20th date. He added in a statement made available to CoreTV News that all uncollected cards will be taken to the local government office of the Commission for subsequent distribution. Also, continuous voter registration in the affected states will now be from Wednesday, August 20 to Monday, August 25, 2014, instead of July 23 to July 27. The states involved in the second phase of the program are Yobe, Bauchi, Jigawa, Sokoto, FCT, and Kwara. Others are Anambra, Ebonyi, Ondo, Oyo, Delta, and Cross River. INEC says new dates will be announced later for phase 3 involving Adamawa, Borno, Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, Plateau, Nasarawa, Niger, Imo, Lagos, Ogun, Edo, and Rivers states. The month of Ramadan has been described as a month of mercy and blessing for Muslims and non-Muslims, in which they show love to one another. In this period of giving, Governor-elect in Ekiti, Ayo Faishe, distributes food items to Muslims across the 16 local government areas in the state. Rashid was there and filed in this report.
As Ramadan continues, the governor-elect in Ekiti State, Ayo Faishe, has used the period to show kindness to Muslim faithfuls across the state. While presenting the food items to the Grand Imam of Ekiti State in Ado-Ekiti, the Deputy Governor-elect, Olushola Eleka, says the gesture is Fayoshe's demonstration of love for the masses without religious sentiment.
Ramadan season is a very important season for the Muslim brothers. In every season, whether for Muslims or Christians, we are all there to support them. It's just a demonstration of love right, and support for our Muslim brother this time around. It's not the quantity that matters, but the act. The act shows a demonstration of love, and the fact that he shows concern, is concerned about it.
While commenting on the gesture, Islamic cleric Lukman Abdurrahim says Fayoshe knows the reward in giving alms during Ramadan.
The newly elected governor in Ekiti State did during the month of Ramadan. He may not be Muslim, but he showed the love to Muslim by distributing provisions, the food, to the Muslims. Doing this, the reward shall be daring. And I pray God Almighty Allah will reward him and every one of us.
The Muslim community thanked Fayoshe for his kind gesture, saying it's a sign of better things to come for Ekiti State.
If something is good, another you can call it than good. Somebody that just elected and have the interest of the Muslim in mind, to say that they gave us something, in this Ramadan, it was wonderful. Actually, he had been doing it before. I know he'll be doing it more.
Muslim faithfuls are enjoined to give alms and be kind to all during this Ramadan period so as to get maximum reward of the month of forgiveness. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We'll be taking a short break, and when we return, it will be time for business news with Sabina Zoku. Stay with us.
This one wash challenge will test Ariel to see if it removes stains in one wash. Let the challenge begin. First, chocolate and juice. We will wash shirts with Ariel. Look, Ariel has cleaned in just one wash. So which detergent removes stains in one wash? Ariel, P&G Everyday Quality Brand.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ghana. Please remain seated and ensure your seatbelts are fastened. You can now turn on your MTN mobile phone data to enjoy a browsing rate of 5 kobo per kilobyte with MTN One World. Thank you.
Absolutely. Browse like home with MTN One World. Surfing the web from any MTN operating country costs the same like home. Enjoy affordable rates when you call and send text messages. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN, everywhere you go.
CoreTV News now provide a platform for live coverage of political rallies and electioneering campaign from anywhere in Nigeria. Political news stories, political editorial reviews, political discussions, personality profile, People's Parliament from the National, State and Local Government Assembly. Contact us now on 0803-471-8550 or 0803-724-9733. 01453-3407.
Our 24-hour news station.
Nigerians continue to
travel the city of Lagos once again.
Be the first to know from the north, south, east, west and around Africa. We break the news.
One Nigeria.
Now you can catch all the actions live as the news breaks. We are CoreTV News.
Welcome to CoreTV.
Our 24-hour news station.
Hello there, you're welcome to the world of business. In a renewed fight against substandard products, the federal government has given a 6-month ultimatum for compliance with the product storage standard. According to the statement, the Minister of Trade, Industry, Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, made the government position known during the inauguration of the Check Best Before Date campaign of the CPC, Consumers Protection Council in Abuja. The federal government also said it will soon begin the enforcement of date markings on products. Aganga, who was represented by the director in his office, Jonathan Juma, says the government is more determined to move against the industry operators comprising the interests of consumers through the activities or products. He said the government, in view of the hazards posed to consumers by this situation and other forms of consumers' abuse, will support the CEPC in its ongoing efforts to step up its inspection and enforcement activities with a view to detecting, exposing and prosecuting dubious businesses in the country. The federal government is making plans to launch a vehicle finance scheme to make available funds to Nigerians for the purchase of vehicles under the new automotive policy. According to the Minister of Trade and Investment, Olusegun Aganga, who briefed the press in Lagos on the progress of the policy since the commencement, said the scheme will be launched in the next 4 months, which involves the collaboration of both the local and foreign banks to make money available to prospective car owners at a concessionary rate of 10%. The minister said the essence of collaboration was to solve the problem of high interest rates charged by banks and also to ensure that the Nigerians benefit from the policy through employment opportunities and access to affordable quality automobiles. Payment for the vehicles will be spread over the period of 4 years. The federal government has announced that it is in partnership with the local investors to provide electricity for rural communities in the country. The Minister of Power, Professor Chinedu Nebo, said the federal government will extend the solar power initiative to remote parts of the country that is yet to be connected to the national grid. It says the partnership is part of the Operation Light Up Rural Nigeria initiative introduced by the federal Minister of Power and inaugurated in 3 Abuja communities some months back. Nebo, who spoke through his Special Assistant on Renewable Energy, Dr. Albert Okorogu, said the Operation Light Up Rural Nigeria project is still very much on course. The minister gave an assurance that no effort will be spared in complementing the rural electrification project. 8 months after the privatization of the now defunct state-owned power holding company of Nigeria, PHCN, the Nigerian electricity market remains largely in a state of limbo as it continues to operate under the state of government interim rules. The electricity market, which was originally scheduled to be declared on March 1st, 2014, was put off to ensure that all the conditions precedent before it comes on stream are satisfied. As part of acquiring the assets, the private owners committed to reduction of aggregate technical, commercial, and collection losses, ATC&C, but little to nothing has been achieved by the investors. The interim rules orders prescribe minimum payments that each disco must produce and that each generation company must receive. These amounts are meant to represent targets that are achievable and which, when performed, should be able to keep the market in a well-defined shape. The Central Bank of Nigeria will raise 70.55 billion naira, issuing 3- and 6-month treasury bill at an auction on the 9th of July 2014. The bank says it will raise 20.15 billion naira in the 3-month bill and 50.40 billion naira in the 6-month note, using the reverse Dutch auction scheme. Results are expected the next day. Nigeria raised 134.5 billion naira in treasury bills, with tenor ranging between 3 months to 1 year, with mixed yields at its last auction on the June 25th. It also says it will raise 936.92 billion naira from treasury bills in the ongoing 3 months. Meanwhile, yields on Nigeria's treasury bills are likely to inch down at the auction next week, while good liquidity in Kenya's money markets could spur demand for treasuries. For Nigeria's largest economy, higher liquidity in the money market will boost demand for government securities, thus helping to drive down yields. Equity transaction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a positive note. Market capitalization appreciated by 345.2 points to close lower at 43,031.81 basis points. Also, market capitalization, which opened at 14.095 trillion naira, rose to lower at 14.209 trillion naira. In all, a total of 282 million shares, valued at 3.24 billion naira, were exchanged in 4,681 deals. Report shows that Dangote Cement PLC topped the gainers chart, followed by Nigerian Brewers PLC, Owando PLC, Ashika Cement PLC, and ETI. On the other hand, Fort Oil PLC led the losers chart, followed by Cadbury PLC, Wabco PLC, Total PLC, and Seplat PLC. Meanwhile, here are the top 5 trades. And that's it on business news. Coming up next, a sport news with Brown State Warner. Stay with us.
Very big thanks for joining us on Sport News tonight. I am Brownson Wana. The Nigerian Football Federation has summoned an emergency meeting of its General Assembly for Saturday. Chairman of the Nigerian Football Federation, Effiong Johnson, disclosed this on Friday evening in Abuja. All the chairmen and secretaries of the Football Association of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are expected at the meeting. Also expected a representative of all affiliated bodies such as leagues, coaches association, referees association, and player association. There are indications that the deliberations will center around issues relating to ban of the ESCO. And away from that, Germany progressed to a record 4th successive World Cup semi-finals as Mats Hummel's first half goal was enough to knock out France. Defender Hummel out-muzzled Raphael Varane to head in from Kroos' free kick. Goalkeeper Manuel Neuer denied Mathieu Valbuena's drive before Karim Benzema's hot shot was blocked as France pushed. The winner of that game will be taking on Germany will face the winner of the game between Brazil and Colombia, currently ongoing. And away from that to the world of tennis, where 7-time champion Roger Federer dismantled big serving game of Canadian Milos Raonic to reach his 9th Wimbledon final. The 32-year-old broke Raonic in the first game and went on to win 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 in 1 hour and 42 minutes. He will take on top seed Novak Djokovic in Sunday's final after the Serb beats Giorgio Dimitrov in 4 sets. Federer is trying to win his 18th Grand Slam title and his first since beating Andy Murray at Wimbledon in 2012. Finally, to the world of Formula One, Lewis Hamilton's top scored an important psychological blow ahead of the British Grand Prix by beating Nico Rosberg in second practice. The Mercedes car were in a league of their own as ever, and Hamilton was 0.228 seconds clear of his teammate. Hamilton failed to do a race simulation run after his engine suffered an oil pressure problem as he left his pit. Although Alonso was the next fastest man after Mercedes, Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo may well, in fact, be the silver cars of the Grand Prix. That's a wrap on Sport News tonight. My name is Brownson. Thank you so much for watching.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digi 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back, and now to news outside Nigeria. Andy Coulson, a former top 8 British Prime Minister David Cameron, was sentenced to jail for 18 months for his role in the phone hacking scandal that brought down Rupert Murdoch's News of the World tabloid. The judge at the Old Bailey Court in London sentenced Coulson, the newspaper's former editor, after he was found guilty of conspiracy to intercept voicemails on June 24, following a marathon 8-month trial. Former News of the World editor Greg Miskiw and chief reporter Nigel Toblek were each sentenced to 6 months imprisonment, while journalist James Withrop and private detective Glenn Mulcair received 6-month suspended sentences. The four had earlier pleaded guilty to phone hacking. Cameron was last week forced to make an embarrassing apology after the conviction of Coulson, who was his communications director from 2007 until his resignation in 2011. Veteran entertainer Rolf Harris, a household name in Britain and Australia for decades, was on Friday jailed for 5 years and 9 months by a judge in London for a string of sexual assaults against girls and young women. The 84-year-old Australian-born television star, artist and songwriter was found guilty earlier this week of indecent assault against 4 victims between 1968 and 1986, including the best friend of his daughter, Bindi. Harris was the second person to be convicted under a wide-ranging police investigation set up after allegations that a fellow BBC television star, Jimmy Savile, was a prolific abuser. Harris, wearing a multicolored tie, grey suit and white shirt, showed no emotion as he heard the sentence that could see him die in prison, even if he is only likely to serve half of his sentence. Harris has been a popular figure on British television screens for decades. He painted an 80th birthday portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, took part in her Diamond Jubilee celebrations last year, and has both Britain and Australia in Crown Prosecution Service. And that's all we can take on CoreTV Primetime News. Thank you for joining us. Do you enjoy the rest of our programming? I am Martin Dixon, and bye-bye.